ladies, happy Tuesday and welcome to the first day of yet another month as we inch closer to the holiday season. I'm so excited about it. We have plenty to talk about today. I want to welcome you to Fox Soul's Black Report. I'm Courtney Hicks.
And I'm Nicordelai Corte. You know, each day we are honored to stand behind this desk to take you on a journey across Black America.
That's right, bringing you our news, our views, and our voice. And we want to start off with today's headlines.
Topping off our headlines today, in Mississippi, the water crisis in Jackson, it continues to impact thousands of families. The governor has extended the state of emergency that was initially issued on August 30th. The new order has been pushed until November 22nd, and this all comes after operational failures at the city's treatment plant. Those failures led to more issues throughout the city's water system, including low water pressure and brown water coming out of faucets and toilets. What a shame. The city says that its private operator for its water system will be in place by November 17th.
And the heartbreak continues as two St. Louis schools will remain closed after a gunman forced his way on campus and began shooting, leaving 2 dead and many others injured. Central Visual and Performing Arts High School, where the shooting took place, and Collegiate School of Medicine and Bioscience will be closed all week. That is according to the St. Louis Public Schools. 19-year-old Orlando Harris forced his way into the school and opened fire, fatally shooting student Alexandria Bell and teacher Jean Kuzak. Harris, a former student, was shot and killed by police. Now, the attack on the St. Louis High School is at least the 67th shooting to happen on school grounds this year.
Just terrible, just terrible. And when will they learn? When will they learn? Posting racist comments on social media will come back to bite you.
That's right.
And if you're a police officer whose job is to protect and serve everyone, it's a really bad look. An internal investigation found the Chicago police Lieutenant John Cannon's Facebook post slammed a number of communities. Cannon claimed his account was hacked. The officer was an equal opportunity disparager, posting about blacks, Muslims, Hispanics, Asians, the LGBTQ community, and women.
All right, shifting gears here, soulmates, you will be able to start signing up for health insurance as Obamacare's 10th open enrollment period kicks off today. If you need to make any changes to your health insurance policies, today is the day to add additional benefits, choose different options, or add family members to your coverage. You can also sign up for insurance if you need coverage. Visit healthcare.gov to apply online.
That is terrific. What a difference a little over a decade makes. Remember when Obamacare was vilified and they were talking about death panels for grandma and all of that? And,
that's right.
And look at how many people continue to benefit from, you know, that historic legislative achievement. What they meant for bad has meant for a lot of good for a lot of folks in our community.
And we want you to use your patience with signing up. You know, on the first day, sometimes that site can get a little heavy, and they're expecting a lot of potential of an uptick with enrollment because the Biden administration, if you didn't know, earlier this month released a final rule that will give people access to what they're calling subsidies, which is going to help lowering the cost of the actual insurance. They've also put almost $100 million towards a program called the Navigator program, which is going to help you sign up, understand all of the innuendos, all of the layers of signing up for health care in your local area. So folks are excited about that particular program as well. And hopefully those numbers will continue to increase of folks who have coverage, health care coverage.
Access and affordability.
That's it.
Look at it, delivering just in time for flu season.
That's right.
You know, a debate has started across the country as to whether or not Black people are even responsible for America's vaccines. This all comes after an article claims that an enslaved hidden figure named Onesimus traveled to America in the early 1700s with knowledge about medicine and healing. Now, the debate around the origins of vaccines has been a top discussion in the past years as more Black folks were initially cautious of the COVID-19 vaccines during the pandemic.
And the U.S. Supreme Court has now heard arguments and is expected to issue rulings next spring on 2 college affirmative action cases. Legal experts say the 6-3 conservative majority on the Supreme Court seems ready to stop schools from considering, quote, race when it comes to admitting students. 2 lawyers representing a conservative student group claims affirmative action can lead to discriminating in favor of one race over another. Supreme Court Justice Elena Kagan worries that eliminating race-conscious policies will affect other fields of employment.
Joining us now is Dr. Shaun Harper. He teaches MBA students and advises companies on diversity, equity, and inclusion. He's worked with more than 400 businesses, agencies, and institutions. He's published 12 books and over 100 academic papers. He is one of the nation's foremost leaders on all things related to race and equity, and we're just delighted to have him join us here on FOXSOUL's Black Report. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. And so Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, she really seemed to get to the heart of the matter when she challenged the lawyers representing the student group seeking to end race-conscious admissions when she said, applicant 1, this is what she said during the oral argument. She said, applicant 1 may be from North Carolina, might be 5th generation to graduate from the University of North Carolina and want to go to the University of North Carolina just, to pay homage, to pay tribute to that family legacy. She then mentioned applicant 2 saying, I'm from North Carolina and is a 5th generation North Carolinian, and went on to say that that individual's family may not have ever had access to the University of North Carolina, and they too want to go to the university to pay tribute to the legacy of their family. Opponents of affirmative action at UNC seem so opposed to race, but not legacy as a consideration. Tell us why, Dr. Shaun.
Sure. Well, let me first acknowledge 2 important facts that are absolutely incontestable across all fields and all industries in our workforce, as well as in higher education. White women have been the single largest beneficiaries of affirmative action. That's just a fact. In the context of higher education, as Justice Brown Jackson notes, really, it is legacy students, legacy applicants who have benefited so much more from affirmative action than have people of color broadly, and certainly Black applicants specifically. So I really appreciate her just laying the facts bare on that, right? We can't just throw out the race-conscious affirmative action or attempts to diversify the student body without also acknowledging the historical context that has excluded Black folks from institutions like the University of North Carolina.
Speaking of Black folks that have been historically excluded from institutions, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, she is the first Black woman to serve on the Supreme Court of the United States. Tell us, what difference is having KBJ in the room and on the bench? What difference did that make in yesterday's oral arguments, both symbolically and substantively?
Well, symbolically, it certainly was a real privilege to see that sister there and weighing in on one of what I believe to be one of the most consequential cases, not only for higher education, but for our democracy. Substantively, right, I'm not sure that any of the other justices would have made the very points that you articulated in your example, in the absence of Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. So, it really makes a difference to have Black representation, not just for mere representation's sake, but also to, bring different points of view to the table that otherwise would have been missing. Imagine if we had in college admission offices a Ketanji Brown Jackson at the table when they are sorting and sifting through applicants to determine to whom they want to offer admission. More than 80% of college admission directors are white, right? So, it really makes a difference to have Black representation, at that particular table as well.
Dr. Harper, the court is expected to rule on the legality of race-conscious admissions next year. What impact do you expect a decision like this to have? What impact do you expect a decision to strike down race-conscious admission? What impact do you think that might make in terms of political discourse, public safety, and other indicators of campus climate across American colleges and universities, but particularly historically Black colleges and universities?
Sure. I would love to be wrong about this. I fully expect the court to strike down affirmative action. I want to be wrong about it. I want to also be wrong about the consequences of the elimination of race-conscious admission. I fully expect to see at highly selective public and private universities what we've seen in the University of California following the passage of Prop 209, which eliminated race as a consideration in college admissions here in California. Black student enrollments plummeted at UCLA, UC Berkeley, and other University of California campuses. I fully expect that to be the outcome. HBCUs have experienced terrible bomb threats and other threats of violence over these past few years. I want to acknowledge that and not minimize it. That continues to be a thing. I do think that if the court strikes down affirmative action, we might just see an increase in the number of Black applicants and ultimately Black students who enroll at HBCUs, which I think is a good thing. As a proud graduate of Albany State and HBCU in Georgia, I would love to see us get incredibly talented, gifted Black students who absolutely deserve a shot at higher education. If Harvard doesn't want them, if Princeton doesn't want them, Albany State will take them.
Well, and so many more. Our thanks to Dr. Shaun Harper, the founding executive director of the University of Southern California's Race and Equity Center. Please come back again soon.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Wow, so much to unpack. So many of us have benefited so much
you have a personal story as well.
From affirmative action and more specifically from race-conscious admissions. I'm a graduate of the University of Southern California, and I remember being a senior in high school, and there was a classmate of mine that had a 4.2 GPA. Had applied to a lot of different colleges and universities, and didn't get into a lot of them. Didn't get into USC, and I remember her confronting me in the parking lot senior year, and she said to me, "Wow, I guess if I could check Black as a box on my applicant, I guess I would get into USC as well," right? Wow. And so, imagine this is a big inflection point, and to have somebody sully it, to have somebody sort of diminish your achievement and reduce it to the fact that, you must have gotten just because you were Black. That was what made the oral argument so interesting, and in particular, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's line of questioning. She's saying, wait a minute, what's wrong with race being considered as a factor among many factors? More specifically, why do you have such a problem with race, but you're okay with legacy?
Something that we'll just have to continue to look at. We're knowing now that ruling might not come down until the very late spring, but maybe top of summer. So it's something that we'll have to keep top of mind and follow up on for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like Dr. Harper, I hope he's wrong in terms of the likelihood that it will be struck down.
Very interesting prediction there.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? The Guinness Book of World Records, they aren't predicting this. They know it. They've noted it in the Book of World Records, which now reveals its lineup of 2022 record holders, proving just how fun, diverse, and unique the world truly is. Zion Clark's speed landed him a coveted spot in the book. Clark, who wasn't born with legs, nabbed the title for fastest 20-meter walk on his hands. And for him, he says, it's a dream come true. Amazing, amazing, amazing. The things you can do, when you're supported.
That's right.
And it's amazing. Again, the thing that people think is going to keep you down, that's the thing that really moves you along and really.
And for those of us who sort of kind of make excuses, I mean, of course, you saw what would be considered a handicap, and him still reaching higher heights without some of the limbs that we all been blessed with. So it really drives home that sometimes you just gotta, do away with the excuses and make happen what you'd like to see happen for and with your life.
And as if that wasn't interesting enough, here's an interesting Black history fact. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King paid the hospital bills for one famous actress. Can you guess who?
When I heard about it, I was like, shut up.
You'll never guess it.
I didn't until you guys told me earlier this morning.
Julia Roberts. Yeah,
the pretty lady?
Pretty woman.
Shut your woman, lady. Shut your mouth.
Yes, the actress who played in Erin Brockovich, Pretty Woman, Runaway Bride, and Ocean's franchise, shared this during an interview with Gayle King. The secret was revealed during a recent interview between the two when discussing Robert's birthday.
So I have a personal MLK story.
You too?
I do. My sweet mother-in-law, Miss Betty Lanier, her college roommate, Betty, was the babysitter for the Kings.
Whoa.
So they used to go to Birmingham and babysit, and she was in the house with MLK. He had an office in the back, and he called her into the office one day. He was like, Betty, tell me a little bit about Huntsville. He had to go to Huntsville to speak, and she was like, well, I don't know. She's a 19-year-old student. She's like, I don't know. And I had to stop my mother-in-law right there and say, you were in his house? He had a desk? He talked to you? It was just absolutely amazing. So, it just really sets a different type of a perspective, knowing that ML King, we know he existed, and his legacy still lives, but there was a home, there was the wife and the kids and babysitting.
He was a real person.
Yes,
he was a real person.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine?
I can imagine. Speaking of real people, hip hop's got a new billionaire. Find out who just crossed the milestone. That and more coming up